G'day, I'm Joy, and I've chosen to be on Beating the Odds Tuesday for Inspire Week because my cartoon-like life has encouraged me to learn how to stack the odds in my favor, and that's what I want to share with you. I've died 6 times in this life, and each time I've been returned with different uncommon perspectives and abilities to help empower the people who empower other people. I am living proof that you only get to die when you're supposed to, regardless of what the odds might look like. I have been given up on by the Western medical profession on 6 different occasions, entirely unrelated occasions. I'm living proof that incurable means curable only from within. I have blasted through the glass ceiling of every male-dominated industry that I have entered. I am living proof that you can rise despite the patriarchy and that you can change the way the game has been played. So I want to share some of the things that helped me not just beat the odds, but thrive against them. And the first one, my poor long-suffering little mother would call my stubborn streak. Throw up a like if anybody has a stubborn streak, if you can relate to, like, people say it's stubborn like it's a bad thing. But it's my stubbornness that has gotten me to where I am, still alive, still going. It's only a problem, as my friend Robin says, when it's the only tool in your toolbox. I learned how to make stubborn work for me instead of against me when I was 15 years old. And actually it was the first time I died. I flew off a cliff on a motorbike wearing a full face helmet and a bikini. They never found the bikini top, and the full face was shattered. I was declared dead on the operating table for 2.5 minutes. And when I returned, I found myself in the ICU being told that they might have to amputate my leg. Yeah, oh hell no. I was a dancer. Dancing was life, and I was a 15-year-old who really had no respect for authority at all. Throw your hands up if you ever were one of those people. It's not a bad thing. What got me through that was negative motivation, actually. I watched the surgeon who said I would never walk again come into the room, and first he went to the woman in the bed next to me and told her, "I'm sorry, there's nothing that we can do. You're going to be dead in a month." And I watched my friend take his words in and believe them entirely and begin dying at that moment. And when he came to my bed and he said, "You'll never walk again," I said, "I'll not only walk, I will dance on your grave." And that is how I became a silver medal winning ballroom and Latin dancer. But to get to that point, well, I walked out of the hospital under my own steam. Well, okay, with crutches, but still walked. And I stubbornly did what I had been trained to do, the only thing that I knew how to do, because the pain was so bad, and I didn't know how to cope with it. I put it away from me, and I locked it up, and I made it wrong, and I soldiered on. I stubbornly soldiered on. And then I wondered why I wasn't healing. I learned that you can't heal what you don't own, and that stubbornly doing the same thing then when it isn't working is not going to ultimately get you where you want to go. So I realized I need more tools in my toolbox. And I learned, instead of doing what the doctors, I wouldn't let them do, but instead of amputating my leg and having nothing to do with it, I learned to listen to the pain. I learned to treat it like a crying child. I learned to, instead of rejecting parts of myself, embracing it and saying, I am so, so sorry that I made you wrong and ignored you and just moved on as if you weren't even hanging off the end of my leg, doing the absolute best that you could. You are not a bad leg. You're a wonderful leg. You reach all the way to the ground despite everything that I've done to you. You are a fabulous leg. How can I work with you? What do you need in order to operate without pain? Pain is our friend. Our bodies don't yell at us for no reason. I learned that if I'm going to beat the odds, to begin to listen to my body instead of making it wrong, bad, rejecting it. And in doing so, stubbornness of just, I'm going to make this happen, which got me to the point where I could release stubborn into flexible tenacity. I would not give up, but I would look for the ways that would best support me, because, well, again, stubbornness can work in our service or not, depending on how willing we are to open up new ways of doing things. Do you understand? Just for a moment, I wonder if you have, you want to do a little exercise with me? Have a look at a stubborn part of your life, or maybe an aspect of you that holds on stubbornly to something. An aspect of you that, just for a moment, take a breath, don't make wrong, but instead access that part of you now. And close your eyes if you want to. How old is that stubborn part of you that's doing its absolute best to keep you safe the only way it knows how? For so many of us, those aspects of us that are stubborn, that have got us through so much, are so young and crying out for reassurance. I wonder if that's the case with you right now. How old is that part of you? Regardless, take a moment to honor that part of you that has brought you to this point and say thank you, thank you, thank you for all that you've done. How about we both take a breath now and relax and see what other options there might be, and ask this part of you, how can I best support you? Show them now what I bet is true, which is that you have come a long way and acquired very many more skills now to be able to overcome things rather than just blind determination. Send them love. Send them gratitude. And say, hey, you can rest now while we reevaluate and look and see what's working and what's not. Befriending challenged aspects of oneself and giving them new job descriptions so that they can support rather than sabotage you is just about the smartest thing you can do when you're wanting to stack the odds in your favor. Let me know if you've noticed how massively creative that part of you was that's been protecting you. When you harness that power in a way that supports you, when you befriend that part of you, everything just flows so much more easily. Let me know if you need help with that. It's one of the things that I love to do so much. Because when all of the traumatized parts of you that are saying, we can't, it's too much, there's no way, if we don't, it's just, are rescued instead of ignored, are listened to instead of made wrong. The negative voices in your head get quieter and quieter, and everybody gets on the same page, and everything that you're wanting to bring into your life is made so much more smooth. Let me give you another example. Oh, I'd love to hear your comments if you wouldn't mind commenting your experience of those aspects of you and what you think about that. So this is one of the ways that not stubbornness, well, there was a little bit of stubbornness, but flexible tenacity did me well in business. It was a company called Harding Signals, and I went for a job interview as a security sales engineer. And like about halfway through the job interview, I'd already decided this is absolutely not any job I'm interested in. But at that moment, the manager came in, saw me being interviewed and said, "I'm sorry, we don't hire women for this position." So, of course, now I've got no choice but to make sure that I get hired for the job, because all womankind is relying on me. I can't allow them to get away with this. And they, of course, hire me for the sole reason of making sure I fail so that they never have to disgrace the old boys network with a woman ever again. Talk about going against the odds. Oof. So I was supposed to survey and quote these enormous warehouses and department stores and stuff for burglaries, because that was what the company did. They installed security systems, but nobody would train me, and so there was no way that I could survey and quote. It wasn't my idea of the best job and to begin with. But I had to find a way. Because I was not going to give up on this. So I did some research into the clients that I was cold calling anyway, the shops. Figure I'll start out a bit smaller, not the warehouses. I'll start smaller with the shops. And I found out that they actually had more problem with shoplifters than they ever did with burglars at night. But there weren't any anti-shoplifting options apart from these big 30,000, you see them still, just like the things that guard the entrance and go beep if you walk through with your stuff. That was the only option. And a lot of the people that I was talking to, they couldn't afford $30,000 for something like this. So I figured, if I can create an anti-shoplifting device for under $100, then I'd service a whole industry that desperately needs help. And I would prove myself to Harding Signals as, look what women can do. Yes, I was that naive. So I made one friend in Harding Signals. Everybody else was, but this friend happened to work in the warehouse where there was all of the like double-sided reed switches and pressure pads and all of the things that let you know if somebody was burglaring something. So I went in and I talked to him about what I wanted to do, and he helped me figure out a really super simple unit, just a box with an unbroken switch, plugged in here, and all around here there was like the reed switches, so if you pulled something away the alarm would sound, and the pressure pads and all of the things. And so I took it to like different stores selling electronic merchandise and things. This were the days of the old boom boxes and stereos, the big ones. So I showed it to, I sold a few units. I went, yes, okay, it's successful, it's working great. Went back to Harding Signals and said, look what I've done. And they said, oh no, we don't sell anything under $30,000 or $50,000. and just wrote me off because it was only a $100 unit. So I went to the largest hardware store in chain in New Zealand, and I sold $50,000 worth of snitches. That's what I called the machines. So then I went back to Harding Signals and said, what about now? And but I was so young. I didn't patent it. I didn't do anything like that. So basically they took my invention and found a way to fire me anyway. But I learned so very, very many things that I would need when I entered the computer support industry in Australia, and that old boys network was way more intense, and got a lot of good experience from the guys at Harding Signal in New Zealand. So what I want to share about with this is, again, if we're stuck on stubborn, we can only see there one way to go. But when you focus on the end result of what it is that you want and look to see ways around it, everything begins to change. With flexible tenacity, you're able to evolve your view. So I wonder if you've got a challenging situation right now that is just deer in the headlights. Can't imagine that the odds are just so great. I mean, I ended up in a job that I didn't want with the entire company, except for this one guy, dead against me ever having the job and not training me. Because it doesn't matter what the odds are. It doesn't matter what the challenge is. What matters is your mindset and how you are going to approach it. Are you willing to look for viable solutions? Because you can't see them when you're in the mindset of the problem. So just for a moment, grab a situation that's challenging you and put it there in front of you, and take a deep breath. And take this hand and put it on your forehead, because this is a tool that will benefit you enormously in absolutely every possible way. And get yourself comfortable, because you're going to be keeping your hand there. Now, the expert at Brain Gym actually calls these your positive points, because just holding them will make you feel more positive. And they also will help you reprogram your neurological pathways to have a composed response to stress as opposed to an automatic stress reaction. See, the problem is when we're thinking about a challenge, or we're thinking about a stress, or the odds are all against us, how does that make you feel in your body? It's like... Now, your primitive brain centers have the same response regardless of what the challenge is, regardless of what the stressor is. And that is, when stress hits, 80% of the blood leaves your forebrain, taking all positive cognitive thought with it. Now your blood is flowing through your adrenal system, fight, flight, freeze. None of it is here where you need it in order to be able to beat any kind of odds in today's world. You're not being chased by a saber-toothed tiger. You do need blood in your forebrain in order to be able to function. And holding these points, these are called neurovascular holding points, which are between your hairline and they're little raised bumps on most people. If you're still holding them, then you might actually be noticing that already, just in these couple of minutes, you're perhaps beginning to feel calmer, more clear in your head. So imagine again this challenge that you've got in front of you, where the odds are high and oh my gosh. And imagine rising above that challenge so that you can look down on it. And if it's very challenging, or even if it's not, imagine it being engulfed in the violet flame, which is a wonderful ray of transmutation that incinerates everything that is not pure source, highest love energy, and just let the violet flame dissolve anything that should not be in that situation, so that you are able to see more of what is. And if it still looks really confronting, then move back further, move up further, look at it even further away, and even further away, and even further away, until you begin to notice things that you hadn't noticed before. And just keep your hand on your forehead And do this for a few minutes. Observe the challenge, and you will notice that things become visible to you that were not previously. Because when we're focused, looking at it directly on, then we're unable to see the other doors that are available. When you give yourself more than just one piece of the puzzle, when you look more at the big picture, so much more is revealed, so much more power and choice is accessible to you. Take a deep breath. And observe and notice what you notice. And open yourself even more to wisdom, to solutions, to seeing the more of what is. And focus love now on that whole situation, on that whole challenging thing. Imagining yourself radiating love in that challenging situation right now. And see if you can sense how you, standing in your peace, in your power, focusing on what it is that is in the highest good of all, changes things deeply. Feel how that feels. Notice what you notice. Sense what you sense. Maybe even you can extend your awareness as you look down at this challenge to notice that you're not alone. Can you sense the angels, the guides, the guardians that are here, present for you, supporting you? When you come here to do big work, you get big help. That's all there is to it. But here's the thing. Planet Earth is a free will zone. They're not supposed to help unless you ask for it. So don't make them break any rules. It's not good manners. Ask, please show me that which I need to see. Show me more of what is so that I can better understand how to evolve this into the next grandest version of itself, of myself. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And take a deep breath. And bring all of that awareness, all of that sensation of who walks with you, of more of the big picture, allowing it to continue to evolve in perfect ways and perfect time. Not just here and now, but as you move forward with determined, flexible tenacity, replacing stubbornness. Oh, stubbornness is its foundation. And see what it is that is yours to do. I have no idea what the time is. Let me take a little look. Let's see if there are any comments. It is, oh my goodness, it's 3:30. No, 1:30. So I have been talking for half an hour. Hang on, let me have a look and see if I've got any comments. I did say that I would be answering questions. No, I can't do technology. I will answer all the questions when I hang up. But in the meantime, I want to give you at least a couple more tools to go away with. So if you visit my website, experiencejoy.com, and you click on the Yes, I Want to Clear Stress in 3 minutes or Less button, I will send you a 15-minute video that shows you how to relax instantly, keep a clear head no matter what's going on, and clear stress from your body. Because challenges and the odds are much better to face and easier to face when you're not stressed about it. So those are the first things. And I am most famous for teaching how to live more joyfully and less stressfully in 3 minutes or less. But that's another story. I am available for podcasts and interviews, and my cartoon life is found on experiencejoy.com. I'll see you over there. PM me if you want to connect.